Good morning. The next exam review problem that I'm going to work through for you is 8a, which is a rational expression subtraction problem with an unlike denominator. And we know to either add or subtract fractions that we have to have a common denominator. So I have to find my LCD, and in order to find my least common denominator, I need to factor this right-hand denominator. So that's a difference of two perfect squares, which is going to factor to the root of the first minus the root of the second times the root of the first plus the root of the second. So now, here's my denominator for my right-hand fraction, and here is my denominator for my left-hand fraction. I have to find a common denominator, the least common denominator, which means I need to take every factor found in either denominator used the highest number of times I find it in either denominator. So I have an x minus 4. It's in both. I'm going to use it. I don't use it twice because it's in both. I just use it once. And then I have an x plus 4 on this one. It's missing over here, but remember I need to use every one that I find, so I need an x plus 4. So now that's my common denominator. So now I already have that denominator here in the x squared minus 16. I do not have it here. And what do we do when we're missing part of the denominator? We have to multiply by it. So I'm going to do that right here. The missing part was x plus 4, so I need to multiply this denominator by x plus 4 in order to now have a common denominator. But remember, the rule is anytime you do something to the denominator of a fraction, you must also do the same thing to the numerator of the fraction so that you haven't changed its value. Because remember, x plus 4 over x plus 4 is just 1. Anything over itself is 1. And if I multiply by 1, I'm not changing the value of that. So now I'm going to write the whole fraction over my common denominator of x plus 4 times x minus 4. You notice I'm leaving it in factored form rather than putting x squared minus 16 because I want to figure out if I can cancel with anything in the numerator once I have my numerator established. So in my numerator on this side, I have x times x plus 4. I just changed those around because I'm going to have to multiply them, and I'd rather have my monomial in front, minus 32. Didn't need to change that numerator because I already had the common denominator. So now I'm going to distribute in that x, and that gives me x squared plus 4x minus 32 over my common denominator of x plus 4 times x minus 4. Now, so far I can't see if I have anything that can be canceled because my numerator is not in factored form. So I need to factor that now. And it's a trinomial with no leading coefficient. So I'm just looking for numbers that multiply to negative 32 and add to positive 4. Again, they multiply to negative 32 and they add to positive 4. That's going to be positive 8 and negative 4. 8 times negative 4 is negative 32, and 8 plus negative 4 is positive 4. So I can factor that to x plus 8 times x minus 4, and then over my common denominator of x plus 4 times x plus minus 4, And now, looking at this new fraction, in the numerator and denominator, both I have an x minus 4. So I can cancel those out, and my final answer becomes x plus 8 over x plus 4. I do have an x in both the numerator and denominator, but they're not factors. They're terms in a polynomial. X plus 8 is a binomial. One of its terms is x. That's not a factor. Remember that you can only cancel factors. You can't cancel out terms that are part of a polynomial. So that means that's my final answer. X plus 8 over x plus 4.